Y'all need to do like a challenge.
अभी आए अच्छा
Vikkie, Anand is on there.
वो आ जाएंगे सब कुछ.
What we'll do is, four, right? Four already. We will, let's say, 15 minutes each. Okay. Okay. And then I will just look at the time. Is that all right? 15 minutes each? Just about.
YouTube में जाते हैं.
Because you should need to slow. Yeah, for about 10 minutes.
सभी है न्यूज़.
12 minutes. Regina is one of the speakers. So Regina, Jessica,
11:30 10-11 बजे.
So can we do? We had already kind of had a little right at Anand set up so their titles and topics are similar, and our titles and topics are similar. So she was the main speaker. She was the panelist. I was the main speaker. She was the panelist for my one. So can we go in that sequence like that?
you could. Okay, up to you.
Okay. So we'll just be already set up.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
But I'll just announce and then just make sure that you talk about 11 minutes each. Then we need to for about. Yeah, I don't have this.
Let's listen to it.
Morning, everyone. So now we have a session on sustainability and inclusiveness through South-South cooperation for scaling innovations, the power of the conscious choice, and unlock your inner confidence and show up as the authentic. And we have Regina as our main speaker, and we have with us Dr. Jessica, Tania, and Lynda with us. So over to Regina. Oh, you're going to go first? Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Just to inform you, the people from the Sustainability and Inclusiveness are not here, so if they show up, you're welcome to come. I don't know who is supposed to be in this theme. Maybe you could talk first if you want.
Yes, you want to yes, that's right. These two, I think two topics have been discussed together.
Yes, I know, but the speakers for that theme are not here. So come.
Okay, and I think
Come on.
Vikkie there. Vikkie Anand is there.
Please come.
Do we have Vikkie Anand?
Oh, if you're here, then we can be
Okay.
Okay, 1 second. You can get it straight so that we give the proper introduction there. Otherwise, it will be confusion. Now, are these two separate topics?
Yes, they're
And
separate
they've been
topics.
combined.
Okay, which is the first topic and the second one?
Sustainability.
So I'll pass
Through South-South cooperation. And the second one is the power of conscious choice.
I'll pass the mic then to sustainability, so we go in order.
Okay,
Right?
Then you take over.
Are you with sustainability too?
Okay, so you're on the right side.
So you know what? Excuse me. You know what we do? We will try and keep like about 10 minutes, 9 to 10 minutes per person, and then we should leave it open for questions. So I'll just wave a hand. I'll keep a tab on time.
Okay.
All right.
Give us 1 minute. Give us 1 minute warning, and then we know we can wrap it up, please.
Hi everyone. My name is Pallavi, and I am the founder and director of Desiderata Impact Ventures. Our work involves around scaling social innovations, and it's based on this underlying premise. And I think this topic of sustainability and inclusiveness through social innovations. The way I look at it is that we have this underlying belief that social innovations indeed have the power to create a sustainable and inclusive world, and that is why over the last decade or so we are seeing a number of social innovations coming up, in clean drinking water, affordable healthcare, sanitation, and a lot of other challenges that the developing world is facing. Just to give a statistic, if we look at the despite the huge strides that we have made as a development community in reducing poverty and meeting the Millennium Development Goals, we still live in a world where billions of people don't have access to basic facilities. If I can just give some statistics, 1.3 billion people do not have access to basic, sanitation facilities. 2.5 billion people do not have electricity. Another 1.3 billion people don't have access to effective and affordable health care. And over 1 billion people are estimated to be undernourished. We are in the 21st century, and we are still talking these numbers in billions. There's a huge problem in front of us, and if we look at South Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Latin America, these are the regions where most of these populations are concentrated. There's a huge problem in front of us, and we need to address these, and we are truly believing that social innovations indeed have a power to solve some of these pressing challenges. It's not a question of lack of innovations to address these, because a lot of low-cost innovative solutions have been developed that can indeed solve these problems. But the question is of speed and scale. Unlike in the mainstream, where we see a lot of innovative startups scaling, becoming multinational. We look at Uber, we look at Facebook. The gestation period or the lead time for them to spread across the world has been hardly 5 or 10 years. But when we look at social innovation space, we don't see multinational innovations that have really created an impact. And when I say impact and scale, I don't mean hundreds or thousands, but millions of billions, because the scale is huge. Just to give an example of Grameen Bank, when I say scale, I mean an example like Grameen, where it started as a small innovation in Bangladesh, scaled to an extent where it became a business model that was later adopted, improvised upon, changed to suit certain conditions and adapted to really create an entire microfinance industry. When I say scale, I mean something what M-Pesa did in Kenya, where it created an entire mobile money revolution. Or even closer home, we look at this affordable low-cost innovation on eye care, which is a hospital in Madurai called as Arvind Eye Care, that has given an affordable eye care system to the world. And the interesting thing is that most of these solutions are coming from the global south, where we are seeing that countries are improvising and innovating to address and solve their global issues. We are also seeing that there is enough evidence to say, coming from these examples, that given the similar socioeconomic conditions and context, something that has worked in one part of the world can indeed be adapted in scale to work in the other parts. So what is really needed is to scale, replicate, adapt, and adopt these solutions into new markets rather than reinventing the wheel each time. But that brings me to my next question, that why we don't see more of this happening? Why don't social innovations scale? And the simple answer to that is that it's a question of challenges. There are cross-border challenges and regulatory hurdles, but also this big challenge of resources and incentives. Unlike in the mainstream, where we see an Uber or a Facebook scaling rapidly, we don't have an ecosystem that really encourages and incentivizes social innovations to expand and become multinationals. And that's the space that we are working on. Me and my team is bridging this gap by bringing together the resources, incentives, and also an entire ecosystem of private sector, governments, and the overall community of experts, networks, to catalyze this movement. We live in an interconnected world, and no one country or an individual can alone solve these huge problems. We need our collective strengths and our collective efforts to address these issues. And therefore, I urge us to look at social innovation scale-up as something that we all need to identify and scale. And we are looking at this space as something where we know that there are solutions. We are identifying those and matching them to the right markets and bringing an ecosystem to solve these. We have an unprecedented opportunity in front of us, given the blurring borders as well as sophisticated technologies that are allowing us this opportunity like never before to scale innovations globally and to create a more inclusive and sustainable world. Thank you.
Okay, hello, good morning. My theme seemingly has nothing to do with our theme, but it has to do with everything, the power of conscious choices behind absolutely everything in our lives. So what I'd like to share with you is my experience with the power of conscious choice. I came to realize in my path of awakening that everything starts with the choice or the lack of it. So reality is shaped according to what we consciously choose or according to our belief systems. One way or another, reality happens. So we either choose to choose or don't choose at all. So then that brings in the issue of free will. So on this path, my choice was eventually freedom. And at the moment I chose that, I didn't really realize the extent of what that meant. But that meant giving up absolutely everything. Everything in terms of personality, so who I identified myself with. So I am this and that and the other, and I do this and that and the other. Letting go of what I thought my job was, letting go of what I thought relationships should be like, letting go of absolutely everything. And of course that was a huge challenge, but my choice was ultimately freedom. Right, freedom, wow. So what that took me on an amazing journey of discovery of what was in between me and freedom. And it wasn't other people, it was just myself. And everything I believed in, everything I believed to be true, was in the way between me and freedom. So on that path, I started realizing if I really wanted that freedom, I needed to surrender. Surrender to what? Surrender to isness. It's the way I prefer to call it, because I could say, and I am going to say divinity, but it has all sorts of belief systems and overlays upon it. So I prefer to say isness, and the fusion of human and isness as one in this human experience. Because ultimately, when we are in this physical body that we have chosen to incarnate in, we are the human making free will choices. So it's always the human who makes the last choice. The thing is, I started realizing my human choices are bringing me all sorts of dramatic situations. And do I really want to keep on playing these games? Because they're just games. And I had lots of fun with them, I suppose, even though sometimes I thought it wasn't fun, but I realized I was having fun with them. I was enjoying my human dramatic games. Until the point I said to myself, I suppose I've had enough of that. And then the choice of freedom required surrender. Surrender. So one way free will, the other way surrender. So how do you intertwine them? Well, I had to shut up. And you all know that us humans are terribly stubborn. So shut up and listen. Listen to what? To isness. Isness is nothing and everything at the same time. So it contains all of the answers of any possible question that may arise. Shut up meant stop asking so many questions. Stop worrying. Stop playing those games. If you want freedom and you've decided to let go of drama, then just stop and listen. Okay, how do I do that? My mind is making so much noise all the time. Just let it. So I went through many spiritual practices and taught Reiki and magnified healing and many other things and different kinds of meditation and mantras and all sorts of things. There come a day came when this inner wisdom said to me, okay, so you want freedom, right? Yes, please. Let go of everything then. What do you mean everything? Everything. So, I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, do my spiritual practices and also let go of that? Yes. What do you mean let go of that? Let go. Stop. Shut up. I said, okay. So then I was torn with fear, like, oh gosh, if I'm not doing my alignment and setting all of my chakras straight and creating the protective bubble around me and so on, how am I going to go out into the world? Do you want to trust? Do you choose to trust and surrender?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I do. Let go. That let go implied throwing all of my manuals in the recycling bin. And I was, nah, that can't be serious. Why don't I give them to someone else? No, we're not going to perpetuate what you experienced. Everyone else has their own experience. So, okay. Well, why don't we burn them? Well, what for? Let's recycle. That's what we're doing inside. Let's recycle. Burning is not what we want to do. Okay, recycle. A huge bag, black bag, full of manuals of all sorts in the bin. And then what if I want to go and look something up? Do you trust? Or what? You're never going to want to look at that. You don't need it. You know, each moment I will show you. My isness. Okay. Okay, so then I did that and started learning. Who am I? Well, I'm no one, actually. It doesn't really matter. I am that I am each and every moment, and that's the only thing that matters. Because in actual fact, nothing really matters, though it matters completely. And I choose not to explain that because everyone has this wisdom. We all have the exact same wisdom. Therefore, it's the only place to dive into. So, I just wanted to share with every one of you that we can choose everything, every kind of experience, but when in complete surrender and choosing from essence, everything simply works out. I just want to give you a very simple example. For example, I'm also an English teacher, and I work with teenagers, kids, all ages, but the teenagers, I love working with them, and they challenge me a lot. And so I was figuring out, so this new year is going to start. Oh, wait a minute, I can choose what kind of class is going to manifest in front of me. So everyone has different aspects. Everyone has their shadow, their light, and everything in between. So what do I choose to interact with? I cannot choose for others, but I can choose what comes to me.
That's right.
So I chose, okay, my class is manifesting in its creative, abundant, interactive, curious, respectful side. And that's exactly what happened. So no longer was it the issue of how am I going to deal with these kids' behavior and all of that, because that didn't really matter once I start choosing who am I going to relate to in each person. So when I go out to my day, my choice is simplicity, because that's what essence is. Surrender, simplicity, and receiving. Receiving is in itself giving. There is no way to be just one or the other. But we have somehow separated both things. And the breath shows us each and every moment that it is in, out, is one circle. So opening up to receive all that we are is in itself being all that we are in each and every breath. So thank you.
Thank you, Tania. I'm kind of glad that they've combined. I know it's a lot of confusion today, and everyone's trying to figure out what rooms are we all supposed to be in and where we're supposed to go. But I'm kind of glad they combined it because our topics do interrelate and they do go together. I'm Dr. Jessica Sanchez, and I am a medical doctor who's decided not to practice traditional Western medicine. I instead have followed my lifelong goal and career to be a healer. So I'm a spiritual healer, which is healing in a different form. I do energy therapy, and I'm a spiritual intuitive. And our topic of conscious choices is very important in everything that we do today and everything we do in life. So what I'd like to do to start out with, because we've all made a conscious choice, first of all, to be in Delhi with so many beautiful spirits and so many beautiful people for new experiences and sharing and understanding of each other. But I'd like us to go through a little bit of an exercise, and while we're here, and you can therefore reflect on the people who have spoken already and who is about to speak, and about your own self and within and your own divinity. Let's run through an exercise, if you will, please. So, with energy therapy, we're always calling in the energies from the divine and from above. So if everyone wants to just rub your hands together, let go of the energies of the past. You can put your hands down to the side when you're ready on your own. Close your eyes, don't worry about anyone else, what they're thinking, who's looking at you or who's not. And as we talked about, the importance of breath. Take a deep breath in and release. A deep breath in on your own timing and release out. And on your next deep breath in, allow the divine light from above to enter through the top of your head, your crown chakra. Some of you know it. And as that divine light from source in the name that you call that divinity comes into your lungs, let it go and enter into your heart. Feel your heart pushing out any negativity, filling it with that pure light. And as everyone's hearts begin to feel full, let that light be pumped out through your circulatory system, out through your blood, up into your shoulders, out and down your arms. As you continue to inhale the divine light from above, let it go out your fingertips. Inhaling deeply into the core, let it be pushed down to the core of your body, down your legs, past your knees. Sometimes we lock at the knees because we're not moving forward. Let that energy pass past the knees. Don't be afraid to move forward in your choices, in your thoughts, in life. As you continue to let it in and out your feet, through your conscious choice, inhale deep from above, let the divine light in, out through your feet, to Mother Earth, to the core, to the center. As you inhale back in, inhale it as it loops around the core of the earth. Bring it back into your body. And as that energy comes back in, exhale it back up, out through the divine, above. Loop around the divine, bringing it back down into self. Allowing that energy to be cleared and cleansed. And allow that figure 8 of energy to be created between you, the divine, Mother Earth, and the core of the earth, brought back into self, forming a figure 8 with you at the center. And as many of you are starting to feel that peace within that you've been divinely guided to, listen to what your heart is saying in your conscious thought. With everything that you've been questioning and trying to move forward through with life, your answers are there. They are true. This is a quiet place for you, a beautiful place for you. This is a place where you can be one with that true divine source, with your heart, your soul, your connections. And when each one of you is ready, you can choose to open your eyes, but yet keep that peace and that consciousness with you. You're welcome. Thank you for the honor. So, how many of you felt some peace?
I got the title of my next book.
There you go. Say it again. What did you just say?
I got the title of my next book.
You got the title of your next book.
And it's I Hear the Birds.
I Hear the Birds. And you can take yourselves into that position at any time, at any point, in any second you're having a hard day. Oh, Lord, my children are giving me a problem. I don't got kids, but they give me a problem, right? Okay, I don't have children. I have nieces, nephews, I have cousins, I have other children that I adopt into my life because I love them and I pass on love to them. But they might be giving me a headache. I'm human. I'm not perfect, right? But in a few split seconds, I can take that deep breath, and now that you've already gone through that initial exercise, as many of you have done already at home, going into meditation, I'm not walking many of you through anything new, but we are doing it here in a beautiful environment with so many beautiful energies. And although we're sharing that energy with the divine, we are also sharing energies with each other in such a positive manner. Okay? Well, in split seconds, I can just take those deep breaths and bring myself into a conscious moment. And instead of overreacting at work or with children or with family and loved ones, I'm able to bring myself back down into a conscious thought, a conscious moment, and understand that the words I speak, the things I say, have action and reactions of how they may affect someone else. And they also have many actions and reactions of how they will affect me and my future path. So, I wanted to take us through a little bit of an exercise because I am a person who, as my dear friend said, you can read many books. I mean, I can't tell you how many books I read in medical school and becoming a doctor and all the way through, and you're supposed to implement them and you're supposed to implement theory. But at the end of the day, living it, doing it, is a lot of times how we learn.
Yes.
And so therefore, I thought, hey, let's actually bring ourselves into a conscious thought. So as the rest of you go out every single day, my dear sisters up here, who I have met some prior to and look forward to meeting the rest, and everyone else are here, and all the wonderful men that have been here to support and partake as well in this whole event, let's go out consciously to make connections. Let's go out consciously to assist each other. Let's go out consciously to bring new awareness. Let's go out consciously to find answers and actually take action versus just speaking about things.
Yes.
So please join me in that event. And I am here to try to assist as many people as I possibly can so that therefore we make this world a much better place through our consciousness, our conscious thoughts, our actions, our decisions, and what we choose to do in life so that we will have a positive domino effect throughout the world and raise the vibrations of this beautiful world and make it a better place for all. Thank you.
So we don't go tumbling down. Good morning, I'm Regina Robinson, and I'm the CEO of Regina Robinson Enterprises, and my topic from the top was unlock your inner confidence and show up as the authentic you. So ladies, welcome. I want to get all the ladies in the room to stand to your feet for a minute, because remember we said unlock your inner confidence and show up as the authentic you. So we're going to unveil the authentic you today. Because some of you are not authentically here, but you're here in this manner. So in this manner, you no longer see me, right? But you still hear me. But my goal is to make sure that you can see me and hear me. And so that should always be your goal as well. So repeat after me. I am amazing. I am
beautiful.
I am beautiful.
I am wonderful.
I am wonderful.
I am confident.
I am confident.
And I am no longer showing up
And I am no longer showing up
as someone else or who other people want me to be. Today I am showing up just as me.
Today I'm showing up just as me.
You may sit down. Doesn't that feel good to show up just as you? Because oftentimes when we show up trying to be what everyone else wants us to be. That we forget about who we actually are happy being. And how do I know that? For so long I showed up, but I showed up and I showed up like this. So no one knew who I was, but I looked good. So that was one thing they knew. But on the inside, what they didn't understand and what they were unfamiliar with was that I was insecure and I lacked confidence. But when I showed up, you didn't know that. Because I entered the room and I took presence, but the presence was not one that was warranted, right? Because I was not fully aware of who I was. I was fully aware of who everyone wanted me to be, but not who I should have been at that time in my life. So I had to go on a journey of discovery. So today we're going to go on a journey of discovery because some of you will be able to release what we call the mask, right? I didn't have my mask because I traveled very far. So I didn't want to get it crushed in my suitcase. But just pretend, because some of you wear a mask every day when you show up, right? When you show up to your husbands, to your children, to your family, and to your life. But today we're going to unveil and remove the mask. And that's going to require you to feel a little discomfort. But I didn't stop by to make you feel good. I stopped by so that you can get a little uncomfortable, so your dress get a little tighter, your pants feel a little loose, and then you feel a little greater when you leave the room. You never want to enter one way and leave the same way. You should always be looking to show up and leave a totally different person. So if I can make you feel a little uncomfortable today in this session, you'll leave a little differently from here today. So some of us are showing up the way we are only simply because our past is holding us back. We have refused to let go of some things that made us feel ashamed, some things that made us feel like we were not worthy, some things that made us feel like if I take this chance, I might fail. But what we didn't realize, and no one told us that, but if you don't fail, you'll never be successful. So in order to be successful, you have to first be willing to fail. How many of you are willing to fail? How many of you have failed? I mean, every hand should be up, right? How many of you know you're going to have to fail a few more times? How many of you have fell and scraped up your knees and bruised up your elbows and felt a little discomfort? How many have felt that? Right? I have a motivational speaker who I love, Les Brown, and he says that when you fall, as long as you fall on your back and you can look up, you will surely be able to get up. So as long as you keep falling and you make sure you're looking up, you're going to always be able to get back up. See, that's the part that's important. Will you get back up when you fall? See, as women, we get the whoa, and they say, knock, knock, whoa, and he say, who is it? It's me. And you answer every time. And so we have to get out of the woe is me mentality and say, look, I failed, but what did I learn in that lesson when I failed? Because that's what we need to live on and drive on, is what lesson did you get from it? And don't be afraid to learn from the lesson and grow from the lesson. Most of us don't want to grow because it feels a little discomfortable, right? A little uncomfortable. But can I tell you, in our uncomfortableness is where we'll grow the most. And so I went on a discovery about 3 years ago. I was about 40 pounds, 35, 40 pounds heavier than this. But watch out now. I'm ready. So literally, ladies, stop hiding behind pounds, right? But what I discovered, it was never about my skirt size as much as it was about the weight I was carrying up here. And the weight that was weighing on me right here. See, that's what happens, because you can shed the pounds, but they coming back if you don't heal here. And see, so as women, we healing everybody else around us, our children, our sisters, our sister girls, our mother, and we giving them everything we have, and we forget to give us what we need. We deplete ourselves and we never get replenished back. How many of you are depleted and haven't been replenished? How many of you know you were around some people where you giving everything and you ain't getting nothing in return? It's time to get a new circle. It's time to remove yourself. it's time for you to meet some new people. Those people are no longer serving you.
No.
And am I saying that you are better than them? Absolutely not. But you got to be willing to grow, right? I say all the time, your greatness lies at the edge. The problem is, most of you, and y'all got high heels on the speakers, we get like this. We lift up and we peeking. Oh, can I just see what's on the other side? Can you just show me? He says, look, go look a little closer. Stop looking and just jump. You said, oh. And then the light hits you and you back up again, right? You said, oh my gosh, this didn't go the way I planned it. Oh, my job says we no longer need you. Or I don't really like going sitting in that cubicle every day. Or I don't really like showing up seeing Susie at the coffee machine because she gossiped too much. And I want to tell her, girl, be quiet. Right? Or I don't want to get around a person who has the negative energy, like she said, and they depleting my energy, so I'm always drained. So every time I get a little closer to the edge, I'm peeking. But can I tell you, stop peeking and jump. If you keep peeking, you'll never experience what's on the other side. Can I tell you, if you don't get on the other side, you're missing out on so much in your life. Yes. I was that person. I was missing out. I got closer every time, and then I backed up. And I said, I'm afraid. See, most of you are afraid of what success looks like. I knew that. I said, I said, oh my God, are you serious? Am I really afraid? He said, yes, you're afraid. I said, well, why would I be afraid of what success? Because too much is given. Much is required. So some of us don't want to take on what's necessary for that part. But can I tell you, until you take over, you're doing a disservice to somebody who's waiting on you. That's right. Because somebody needs you, your story, your life, whatever you have to give. Someone is waiting for you to step in your shoes, right? Ladies, stop trying to wear shoes that don't fit. Right. They hurt your feet. Right. You have blisters at the end of the night if you wear shoes that don't fit. Step into your shoes that uniquely belong to you. See, I don't want to walk in anybody else's shoes. I want to walk in my fancy shoes. Because they my size, they my style, and they most importantly got my favorite color. So if I put on somebody else's shoes, I look like them, and I don't want to look like anybody else but me. And so you have to stop trying to fit in where everybody else is and fit in right in that unique lane he has for you and walk it out. What would they say that's on that? Walk it out. So, and just walk out in your lane, but stop being afraid. See, the biggest thing is we're afraid. Can I tell you, fear is never going to leave you? Never going to leave you. But so you might as well get ready. And so when fear knocks, you'll be able to say, is that all you got this time? When fear knocks down on my shoulder, I say, you're going to have to come better than that. Because I'm still about to do this. Fear knocks, and I am an Amazon best-selling author, and I wanted to write a book to tell women how to unlock their inner confidence and show up in their power. And fear said, who's going to read it? Who do you know, right? So then I said, that's all right. God says, listen, write the book, and I already have the people who need it. But if you stand here and you be afraid and you keep peeking and you don't take the jump, I took the jump, and now that book is in everywhere, and now I'm in New Delhi, so I know I'm leaving a couple of years. So listen, back then I said, who's going to read it? Never did I know I was going to be here in New Delhi, India. Now I know who's going to read it and some more people. So we got to stop waiting, trying to see everything perfect. Ladies, how many of y'all know y'all got type A personality? Everything got to be perfect. Raise your hand. It's all right. Nobody looking. Everybody close your eyes and let everybody raise their hand. You have got to stop waiting for the carpet. Y'all waiting on, listen, everybody want to get their shine on the red carpet. Some of us ain't making it to the Grammys on the red carpet. Right. Create your own red carpet. Right. Why are you waiting to get to the Grammy night to get your red carpet? My red carpet right here. What did I say? Now walk it out. Yeah. Y'all better get on your red carpet and walk. Yeah. So when your life says it's time for you to do something different, whether it's move from your job, have a plan though. Whether it's time for you to step out and write a book, because we all have a story. Whether it's time for you to launch your business, whatever it's time for you to do, you don't have to wait for it to be perfect. Right. But what you do have to do is, guess what? Have the courage to take the first step. Yes. So when you get enough courage to move, but don't just move. I tell people all the time, how many of you watch boxing? Anybody like boxing? If you are standing still in a boxing ring and that opponent is there, he gonna whoop all up on you. She gonna whoop all up on you. Because if you standing still, you a sure shot for a knockout. Ladies, how many of you willing to get a black eye? None of us. Because we think we too cute. We don't want nobody black in our eyes. Well, some of you are getting beat down in life. Some of you got major black eyes. They're just not visible to the world. But they are visible to you every time you look in the mirror. Because when you look and your reflection shines back, you don't like what you see. You don't love who you see. That's why I said stand up and say, I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am awesome. Because we don't tell ourselves those things. But what we do say is, oh, you got a few extra pounds on the side. You ain't do that right today. Well, why didn't you just say that when she said something and you didn't like it? Or why did you not tell her she looks beautiful today? You have such pretty eyes, sweetie. And so why didn't you just say that, right? And so your mind says all of those things. You know how they say, oh, it's okay if you talk to yourself. No, it's not. Who said that? It's okay as long as you ain't saying negative stuff. No, you talking to yourself, and if all you're saying is negative and nobody is counteracting with anything positive, it is not okay to talk to yourself. You are doing yourself a disservice because there's no one to tell you something positive back. So you have to start telling yourself every day, I am. Wake up and create your I ams. What's going to be your I ams every day that you get up? How are you going to encourage yourself and empower yourself to have the courage to take your first step? And then when you take your first step, take the next one. Because one ain't going to do it. You can't get nowhere with one step. See, it's one thing. It's great to start. How many of you know it's amazing to finish? We don't want to just start in life, but we want to finish in life. So you got to be willing to get started, but most importantly, you got to be willing to stay the course to finish. So when you get to that point where you say, I want to give up, remind yourself, girl, you got what it takes. And if you don't have what it takes, what do you need to do? Lean on your sister friend next to you. But then don't wait on her. See, if I stand here and wait for her to say, girl, you up there doing an amazing job. Girl, go ahead. You better, I ain't waiting on her. I already know I am. You don't need to wait on your neighbor to tell you you're amazing or you're great. See, some of you are waiting for somebody in your family to tell you to take the jump. Some of you are waiting for someone else to say you have what it takes. Can I tell you, everything in you, you already have. Everything you need is within you. But will you be able to unlock your keys? See, how many of you have keys in your purse? Most of us carry keys in our purse, right? We carry keys to our nice cars. We carry keys to our home or our apartment. And we carry keys to our office where some of us work for somebody else, right? And we unlock that with pride. But what happened to you unlocking who you are? What happened to you being willing to show up and use your keys for something that's so worthy beyond anything else in the world, and that is you? So today, remember, I said I wanted to make you feel a little uncomfortable. So I hope you feel a little uncomfortable, but your uncomfortable feeling is ready for you to take the jump. See, because when you keep standing on the sidelines, I don't know over here, you know, we in New Delhi, but us state women, we love you so you would have missed your opportunity. So I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to give you my opportunity. I'm a step up and I'm going to take the jump, and I'm jumping in and I'm getting off the sidelines, because there's nothing waiting on the side but procrastination, fear, doubt, and lack of loving yourself. So today, ladies, let's stand up one more time, because we're going to declare again, I am amazing.
I am amazing.
I am ready.
I am ready.
And gentlemen, I apologize, sir. Thank you for being in the room with us. I hope you're ready to jump as well. I am ready.
I am ready.
I am willing.
I am willing.
And I am unapologetic.
And I am unapologetic.
I am unbreakable.
I am unbreakable.
And I am an unstoppable woman.
And I am an unstoppable woman.
And I am an unstoppable man. That's right. So ladies, thank you so much. Remember, you are unstoppable women on the move. Unlock your inner confidence, show up as the authentic you, and remove the veil.
Amen.
Stay standing. We get very few standing ovations. understand my accent.
Yes, we can.
I've been flying for 24 hours just to get here. I got here at 2 a.m., I think. Okay, so without any sleep, what can we do? I said stay standing. Hey, come on. Everyone stand up, please. I want you to look to your left. Everyone look. Okay, imagine that's your past. There's no reality there. It's just a perception of what happened to you. And every one of us has a different story about what happened in that past. Is that right?
Yeah.
Some of us made it huge, and some of it made it go over our heads. Yeah? Okay, now come back to me. And now turn to your right. And that's your future.
Amen.
And that is also not real yet. Yeah? It's only a perception of what's possible for you. Until you make it real. So all you have is what? Here, facing me. All you have is right now. There were 5 billion sperm and you got created. You. What are you doing? What are we doing? I'm getting emotional. You know, Stephen Bow, this is what really moved me. I mean, I was always a goer. I think when I was born, my parents would have given me Ritalin if it was available for ADHD, but you can sit down if you like. I've had my standing. So, when I was born, I just came out running. It was like, whoa, I'm here. And then they had to lower the cot, you know, to keep me in it and heighten the legs. And in the end, my mother said, let her go. She's not naughty. She just doesn't want to be in that confined space. With me? Yeah. But my dad was a carpenter, and he said to me, he said, I said to my mum, he said to my wife, I want to, you know, it's like sometimes I want to just tie her up. Thank heavens I had a father that didn't do that. Because I've just lived life. I mean, I hitchhiked as a man. I dressed up as a man and went to England and found my dad's family because I decided I wanted to do that. How do you do that? You just get a man's ticket. Too easy. I just thought everything was easy. So I learned all these things that I did. I learned what it was about later. How many of you done that? You did heaps of stuff, but you didn't really you just did it. Yeah? And hitchhiked through the Canadian Rockies at minus 35. But most of us are setting up circumstances as to why we can't do that. So my mantra became, how can I make it happen? What is it? How can I make it happen? Not why I can't. Because I learned that this body is full of energy. Yeah? If you devote half of this energy to thinking about why you can't do something, number one, we're disempowered to the voices that you're listening to. Are we not? Yeah? And secondly, you've only got half that energy to move towards your goal. It doesn't make sense to me. So when I'm in China teaching NLP, and all of a sudden I decide that there's an earthquake in China, right? 12th of May 2008. I'll never forget it. Because somewhere inside of me, my authentic me, something said, you are here for a reason. I don't speak one word of Chinese. But something's told me I'm here, and you know what? I couldn't let that idea go. It was like a baby growing inside of me. So I said to all my students, I'm here for a reason. I'm going to go and help all the children in the earthquake zone. Who's coming? And one lady said to me, you can't do that. You don't speak a word of Chinese. And I started to laugh. I said, isn't it interesting that you've already worked out why I can't do something? Does that make sense? So what are we thinking about? The circumstances of how we can make something happen, or the circumstances of why we can't? If we just go next, every time we think of something that we can't do, we go next. Because I believe the universe would never give you that in the first place if you weren't meant to achieve it. Never. When I got that idea, and this idea came that I was going to help 10 million people in China from being displaced by an earthquake, I just got stuck into it. right? I found a lady that could translate my beautiful good Greek book into Chinese, and we could take it up into the earthquake zone, and we could give it out to teachers and work with kids. And I found people, there was a lot of people that said no. There's a lot of people that are going to be your dream stealer. Is that right?
Yeah.
But are you going to give up?
No.
No. Because your intention, your unique, authentic intention is that you're going to make a difference in some people's lives. At the beginning of that year, I had 2 goals. And one was to go global. I think I just did that, yeah? Another one was to have a charity I could get my teeth stuck into. I think I did that too. So by doing one, I created the other. Because somebody heard about my story and got me to go to Hong Kong and tell a whole group of people. And I'm now in an international magazine because of something I did up there in China. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I didn't plan any of that. It was planned for me.
Yeah. That's
right.
Does that make sense?
That's right.
And when I was telling them the story, I could hardly. I've got goosebumps on the hairs I didn't shave. You know when you have to laugh at your own jokes. So you know what? Running around, like in Australia we call it like a blue-ass fly. When you're running around, who feels like they're running around? Yeah? And you think about being busy, because that's what we were created, was this work hard ethic, yeah? Because my dad was, born in Warntorn, England, and rave. And so I'm one of 7. It's like pollution in our family. There's people everywhere. And so my dad was brought up in that era of everything had to be worked hard, because that's what he instilled in us, yeah? Who had that? Yeah? Rather than work smart or really feel what is your purpose on the planet, what is your authentic self. So I was running around proving myself. Put myself through university, etc., etc. Do heaps of stuff around the world. I didn't care where I went, I just went and I could do it. I ended up with lupus. I ended up on the floor, the shower floor, one day with my hair that was up here in my hands, because I know now that that's a mineral deficiency, and the hair is in my hands, and I'm looking at it going, something's got to stop now. Because I have a husband, I have a son, I'm setting up a department in a hospital called a wellness centre. I was turning $1 million department, something that I created myself in a hospital, from being a sick house to a wellness centre. That's what I was doing. But I was working so hard at everything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Rather than looking at what was it that I really wanted to do and do it really well. So it was on that day that I decided to get better. It was on that day that I made different choices. And 14 years later, I'm completely free of that disease. Why? Because I wanted to study me. I think the universe gave me that disease really early. So I could learn how I got sick, and then I could get better, and then I could teach you. Too easy. Right? Because I wrote a book about it. Heal your immune system. Every second person's got a problem. Why we talked about fear. Fear and faith are incompatible mates. The minute you have a teaspoon of fear, you've lost your faith in where you're heading.
Yes.
Next. Yeah?
Yes.
So the fear sits here in the gut. As an NLP trainer, we know that from the heart up is anger. So if your stuff sits here, let it go. And across here, so many diseases stem from our emotions staying inside of us. The grief, the sadness, it's all in here. And from the heart down is fear. 97% of diseases stem from fear. Including what I had. It was all fear, that inability, I thought, to move forward. I was very efficient. Who felt like they were very efficient? They could do anything. Yeah? But they didn't feel comfortable. Like if authority came around, I could hide behind a pillar. Yeah? Or I won awards and I wouldn't even go and grab them. I won an award in Australia and in America. I wouldn't go on stage to pick it up. I wasn't good enough. You with me? I'm over it. quote, God's gift to you is more talent and ability than you ever had in your lifetime. Your gift back to this universe is to give as much of that talent and your ability as you can in your lifetime. What are we doing? Be your authentic self. So let me share with you an exercise that you can do to really, this allowed me to set my goals beyond my dad. And that's why I write a book a year now. I'm writing number 9, and it's called Age is an Attitude. Who's in?
Yeah.
I'm actually researching centenarians who are well, so they know how to do it. So, just so you remember, chair number 1, you set out 3 chairs. You with me? Set out 3 chairs. You sit in chair number 1 and you talk about what is it like for you now, and get honest. Not about what you tell people you're like at a barbecue. This is the truth, right here. Right? Then you completely write that out until you've emptied out. Then go over here and sit in chair number 2. And this is what you want instead. What do you want instead? So I said to myself, I need to start writing books. I need to get my message out. Being a teacher, which is what I'm born to do on this planet, that's my authentic self, doesn't mean you have to be just standing up here in front of a group. You with me? There's so many ways of teaching, and one of those ways is living your material. Yeah? That's a huge way. But also, you've got the webinars and the books and the TV shows. I'm on TV every Wednesday. If any of you want to come on, it's called Living Consciously. Happy to get you on board. So here is what you want to do, yeah, instead. Now the third position is what I call the emotional position. So you sit in this third chair that's in between the two of them, and in this third chair, you say, who do I have to become? Like, who's my authentic self? Who do I have to become to go from there to there? And that moved me. I was crying. I still remember doing it. And I was training some boys at the time, and they said, well, you are right. And I said, I just set my goals beyond my dad. I get this. For the first time in my life, I know exactly what I want to do. Step up. Stop all the talk about what you can't do. Only think about, how can I make it happen? What is it? How can I make it happen? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My soul sisters and few men. And I got an opportunity today to speak on unlock your inner confidence and show up your authentic you. So, first of all, I'll introduce myself. Myself, Vikkie, Anand. I'm an aesthetician and a makeover artist. So when I say I'm a makeover artist, so I make people, especially women, it's women-oriented business. So when I make women, I counsel them and then I see how much locked they are. Everyone wants, make me look like this, make me look like that. They'll come up with pictures, maybe of actors, actresses, and models. They want to look like those models. So then I realized one day, like, how much locked they are, and they don't identify with their own selves. They are trying to put themselves into the shoe of the other person. It's very, very important to realize what you are, and you should improve upon your own self rather than putting yourself into somebody else's mask. They are trying to put a mask, right? So this is, I think it's very, very important, and especially in India, what we find with women especially, with a girl child when she's born, every time she's been shut down telling no. You don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, you don't have to do that. So finally what happens the moment she grows up, in those growing years, she's learning to say no to her own self. Not only like to others, to herself she starts telling, no, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, and certainly your confidence is gone. How many people agree to it?
Yes.
Yes?
Not only doing, but wanting also.
They don't talk to themselves.
What will I do with it?
They just don't know what they are. Their inner self is all shattered. right? So this is where I think so they need to unlock themselves the moment they get that realization that who they are inside, that inner self has to be explored. They have to reincarnate themselves, regenerate themselves. Then only they can come out as an authentic themselves, what they are actually. And then start working onto that, which hardly I'm finding with people, happening. So I think so that is the basic thing. You have to touch your inner self, inner conscious. Try understanding your own self, what you want, what you don't want, what you are, what purpose you had coming here in this earth, Mother Earth. God has sent you here for some purpose. So we have to fulfill that purpose. Not that blindly we have to live life just as a mechanical, like today I have to do washing and then cleaning and then children and husband and schooling and lot many chores, Usually women, they are doing that way. They are not just thinking about themselves, they are just putting their time into doing things around them. So to unlock yourself, I think so you have the key, it's just you have to put the key inside and just turn it on. Right? Thank you so much.
So we can ask questions.
Any questions?
Or anybody share?
Anyone? Any questions or any questions? You want to share yourself?
Hi, I'm Monique. I'm from Jamaica. And this morning I set my intention to kind of go with the flow of today and allow, I guess, the universe to lead me where I needed to be. So when I'm coming down here, I was pretty much like 30 minutes late, and I told myself that you'll arrive just in time to hear what you need to hear. And I think that the three speakers that I got an opportunity to hear today really gave me some. It's exactly what I wanted and what I needed. What really resonated with me was about that you have the key to unlock who you are. Also, what Regina said about not trying to be someone else, and also walking in your own shoes. I really love that analogy, by the way, with the shoes. And I think that as me, I'm 28, so I'm pretty young. People think, someone asked me if I was 19. But I think I struggle a lot with social media and seeing what everyone is doing, and it gets into my head of comparing where I don't feel where I should be, I should be here, or this person is 26 and they already have like 5 businesses and I'm still struggling with my first one. So I think as women, or at least for me, it's very validating to hear that, to walk in your own path, and that's okay. So thank you.
And can I just respond to her?
Yes,
real quick? Just as a response to you too, we have to be mindful as women that remember social media is just a glimpse into people's lives. It's not the whole story. It's not the magnitude of everything that is going on. And so remember, you are uniquely who you are. And so if you're desiring to look at other people and compare yourself, you'll miss what God has in store for you. And so don't ever want to be or see or measure your success by others, because your success might be greater than theirs. But if you're only measuring along where they are, you'll miss out on where you're supposed to actually be. So remember to just focus on you. Look at them as models and learn. But remember, you're uniquely who you are, and your destiny and your journey and your road will look differently from theirs. But just embrace yours so you don't miss out on everything that's going to come as you go through your journey of life.
Thank you.
Can I just share something?
Yeah.
I could relate to what most of you have spoken, and what Lynda spoke about, how emotions are related to each part of our body. And we go through various manifestations at different stages of our life. I mean, it's not necessary that once you've got over a certain emotion, it's not going to pop in again. Because, situations and circumstances and people who walk into our life at different times, they just come with new baggages. And then you absorb it. And then it manifests in your body. And I've been working on myself, on my body and my mind for a very, very long time. But in the recent past, I knew some area was not healed. And as luck would have it, I woke up one morning and I had my feet and my hands were covered with millions of blisters. There were these little boils all over. So one part of my mind said, okay, I should go to a doctor because it was frightening. But then the other part said, I live with it. I live with it, and I will just introspect and figure out what is it that I need to look into, what area of my life I need to look into. And I was in bed for 15 days with those boils and eruptions, and they went away, but then one very, very important area I had to let go, and I was okay. And then I really relate to what you spoke of, Jessica, that when you are in that state, and that's the time you really need to spread that fragrance, because then that fragrance is such an important part of your being that you cannot just not spread that fragrance. So if you from personhood, you actually turn into a presence. Because then you are walking around like this presence who really doesn't have an identity or a name or a tag, but you're actually that presence where you are leaving behind a certain part of you and making an impact and making a difference in people's lives. So I could relate so much to what all you spoke. Thank you so much.
I think what you're saying has very much importance, and being a doctor and a medical doctor and deciding not to practice medicine but do the spiritual health and wellness, we all forget that our bodies are more than just our physical bodies. It's our emotional body, it's our spiritual body, it's our ethereal bodies, and a lot of the illnesses that manifest in our physical body are to do with that. So many of us have gone through that process, so thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Regina.
Group photograph. Group photograph.
Your group is yeah, no, that's fine. You need to come forward. Next to light. Yeah.